guys? My name is Brandon, and welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find the latest album reviews. You can find our band interviews, and you can find our podcast on our website. Links are in the description, so definitely go check that out. We only have the intro episode up. We will have the Facebook Live one that we did this past Wednesday. That one will also be going up very soon. And then this coming Wednesday, we're gonna be trying to do it in person. Have the whole crew back. If you want to kind of get a flavor for what it is, definitely check out our audio addiction episodes. We did pretty much the same thing, so except for it's going to be in a podcast this time. So if you enjoy that, make sure you check that out. Also, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure to hit that like button as well. It really does go a long way. And thank you guys for your support over this past year. It's literally been amazing, and I can't expect anything less from you guys. And thank you to all the bands and the fans. It's so appreciated, and thank you guys so much. So without further ado, tonight we're going to be talking about the beautiful Monument's new record, I'm the Sin.
You'll be okay, it's not alright. What good is this world if there is no fucking light? The one thing I am trusted on.
So I had the privilege of talking with this band probably a couple weeks ago now, and well, since the video came out, but it's been maybe a month or two since I've talked with them. But they are just this awesome band out of Melbourne, Australia. They have flavors of rock, hard rock, metalcore, pop punk, easycore, just a whole bunch of different genres, and it's really cool to see the overall evolution of this band. I hadn't heard of them previous to this, but I can't imagine my life without listening to these guys. I really do enjoy what they do. And I think they're definitely an awesome band. I think you guys should definitely check them out if you get the chance. Also, if you'd like, definitely go pre-order the new record. I can't wait to get mine. It's going to be a couple weeks because I live in the US and they live in Australia. But I could care less. I can't wait to get my hands on it. It's going to be amazing, and congrats to you guys. And we're just going to go through all of the tracks and let you know my thoughts on them. And hopefully you guys will check them out if you feel so inclined. So the first track is called Justified. I feel like this one has more of a rock direction towards it. And I'm really digging Lizzie's vocals. I think that, not a lot of female vocalists highlight the lower to middle register. Which I think she absolutely kills. And I know there are some bands. Obviously, a lot of females have that mid to high register vocals, but I like the juxtaposition between her singing versus other female artists. So I definitely enjoy that. I think that's definitely a cool change of pace. I also feel like this has a lot of pop rock feel to it as well. It's very kind of uplifting and stuff of that nature. Even though the lyrics may not stress otherwise, I like the overall instrumentation of it. I like the leads. I think they really do accent the rhythm guitar work, which I do enjoy all that as well. And I think it is simple, but I think it's really well executed with a lot of these tracks on this record. And so we'll move on to track number 2, which is Perceptions. I definitely would say without a doubt this one's one of my favorites. I like this sort of rewind sort of effect at the beginning with all the other sort of, layers and effects and productions at the beginning. I think that's really awesome. You definitely get these sort of pop punk vibes reminiscent of State Champs. I'm trying to think who else has some of those really bouncy pop punk sort of feels to them. So if you enjoy that, definitely this is right up your alley. And like I said, I like that they're switching it up. They have sort of a rock based track, like I said, Justified. And I like that this one takes a more of a pop punk flair to it. I also enjoyed the vocal layering in the chorus. I think that's really nice. I always love when bands do that. I think that's something that I always gravitate towards when there's harmonies and things of that nature. I definitely really enjoy that. I'm liking the sort of break that they have in the bridge. It's very intricate, very thought out, and very methodical, which I really enjoy. And I think it also shows that they took a lot of time in writing it and just conceiving the whole track. I like sort of the delicate vocals, like I mentioned, in the bridge and sort of the pre-chorus. I think it gives definitely a different flavor to the band and this overall track in general. Really enjoy that, and then I also enjoy the sort of piano accents in the bridge as well. I think that kind of brings out sort of the more delicate parts of this track, which I think again goes with good songwriting. So we'll move on to track number three, which is Disorder. This was actually the first track that I heard from them, and I was really sold on it already, and I definitely would consider this one of my favorites. If you're just into heavy, raw, in your face sort of tracks, this one's definitely for you. Again, I feel like they're kind of like the jack of all trades in terms of bands because they do. If you listen to the rest of this record, it doesn't sound anything like Disorder. Like there are some tracks off this record that are heavy, but I think they really did an awesome job of kind of mixing everything up and changing it around. So I really enjoyed that. I think Laura did an awesome job on the drums. Again, that was something that I picked out as well. And Lizzie, Andy, they did an awesome job on the rhythm and lead work, respectively. And I love Shelby killing it on the bass. She's awesome as well. And I sort of like the dark undertones of this track. I think there aren't too many, I would say, darker sort of pop punk easy core bands slash tracks. So I think that's a cool, like little flavor, little nuance that they have about that, and that breakdown at the end just is prime. I love that stuff. And I would definitely say this is kind of almost. I wouldn't even say it's a black sheep because they do have a few heavy tracks, but in terms of songwriting, they remind me a lot of A Day to Remember, where A Day to Remember has some heavier tracks, they have some more rock based tracks, and then they have some softer tracks, the ones that you can sing along to. So I think that's a really fair comparison to give this band, without a doubt. So we'll move on to track number four, which is Hostage. I like the addition of synth in this track. I think again they're just adding more and more layers onto their sound and just not picking or staying to a certain pigeonholed idea. I like they're changing it up again, like they're adding new thoughts and new things to it. I feel like this track has a very bring me the horizon feel, very reminiscent of like that anything off That's the Spirit. In that regard, like it's got heavier guitars with some synth and some of those like layers and production. Really enjoy that. I also enjoyed the softer versus the bigger sort of choruses. I like that they're kind of, I don't know. I like the juxtaposition between the two because you get that sort of like softer, lighter side, and then they really kind of try to pick it up in the pre-chorus, and then they really just try to crescendo it out on the big choruses. So I really enjoy that. I also enjoy the sort of gang vocals. I always love when bands do those things that kind of accents the whole thing, as well as I just think it's cool in general. So I really enjoy that. And I definitely would say this is one of the more unique tracks off the record, without a doubt. So we'll move on to track number five, which is War. Again, I'm really liking the synth in this. Again, I like that they're switching it up, they're changing it up, adding new things to the repertoire. I think that's really awesome. I think, again, there is great diversity in this record. I know I've stated it a lot, but again, if you can just tell based off of these first five tracks, they definitely have anything for anyone. So I wouldn't necessarily put them in a particular spot, but I do enjoy that. I'm liking almost the sort of Linkin Park esque feel to it, instrumentally wise. That's what the first feelings that I got, along with a lot of Paris vibes. I forgot to mention them. They definitely have a strong connection with Paris as well, not just because they're a female led band. I just feel like, to me, sound wise, they have a very close sound, even though I would say that the Beautiful Monument has more of a hard rock direction, but still, nonetheless, great stuff from them. All right, so we'll move on to track number six, which is Empty. It is a very sort of interlude track. Well, I would consider it an interlude. It's very reminiscent to me of The Burden from Memphis Mayfire on the Hollow, one of my favorite records of all time, especially metalcore. Um, but it definitely has that sort of vibe where it's very um personable. You can hear like people talking and like things moving in the backgrounds and like things shuffling. I definitely like when bands do this. I think it adds a lot of character to the album and just the overall feel of it, even though there might not be any vocals or anything. I feel like overall it just adds this sort of depth to the record, whether or not it was intentional or not. I really enjoyed this track a lot as well. So we'll move on to track number 7, which it kind of leads into Manifestation. This was the second single that I heard, and I would definitely consider this one to be another one of my favorite tracks. Um, I would say this one's definitely on the heavier side. I like again that they're switching it up. They had some softer sort of rock bass tracks, and then they have some more again hard rock, almost borderline metalcore sort of tracks. Um, I like the great utilization of synth in the pre-chorus. I didn't really pick that out upon this first listen when I was listening to it on YouTube, but that was definitely something that caught my attention and I really enjoyed. Again, I love the gang vocals. I think again it's a nice touch to that. And then I like the juxtaposition between the heavy instrumentation versus the sort of soft vocals that Lizzie does. I think that's always a nice clash, not in a bad way. I always like that sort of like discord between the two. So I definitely dig this track a lot, and I think you guys should definitely check out Disorder and Manifestation since they're out now. So we'll move on to track number 8, which is Calm Down. I like this sort of ambient, sort of odd intro to this track. I think it's really awesome. I love when bands do that little, like, I don't know, that really odd stuff, but it's something that always gets me, and I enjoyed that. Lizzie has a great sort of lower range, and I like that this track accents that as well as again with the harmonization. I think that's a whole nother additive onto this record that I really enjoyed. Um, and then I'm really enjoying the sort of slower tracks. I didn't think I would, and I didn't expect this honestly. Just because when I listened to Disorder and Manifestation, I thought this was going to be more of a heavier record. So I was delightfully surprised that they had some more softer songs, and I think they're overall showing their band skill and just able to write some softer tracks and really write some heavier tracks and just find that nice middle piece together. So um, kudos to them. I think they did a really awesome job of that. So we'll move on to track number 9, which is Ashes. This one is another one of my favorite, while it being kind of a straightforward sort of rock track. I think it's executed very well. I love when bands do that. I like when bands kind of switch it up again. And I wouldn't say it's try something different. I like that this one's very cut to the chase. It's very thought out. It's very methodical, well arranged, stuff like that. I like the vocal layering. The vocal melody in this track is what really got me hooked on this track for sure. And then instrumentally, I think all of them hold it down very well. And again, I think it's a really solid track, and that's why I enjoyed it because it's a different thing to this album that it's more of a straightforward sort of rock track and it's kind of in the middle. So I think that's what stood out to me, and I think it's more about accenting the whole vocal aesthetic of Lizzie, and obviously the instrumentation's done very well, so that obviously adds benefit to that. So we'll move on to track number 10, which is Manic. They're getting back to the heavy. I really enjoy this. The guitar intro is probably one of my favorites on this track without a doubt, and probably the record. It just got this sort of like odd, sort of clean guitar feel to it, and then they just really hammer it in hard. I would definitely say this track has some of my favorite guitar riffs. Like I've said in countless amounts of album reviews, I really pick out some of the guitar parts a lot. That's something that I strive for because I am a guitar player myself, and those are the things that I immediately pick out when I'm listening to a record. So I definitely appreciate a lot of the riffing from Lizzie and Andy. I think they do an awesome job. I like that this one has a heavy, more dark feel for it. I like that they came back and did this again, a lot like Disorder, and again, it was one of those tracks that I was just waiting for. I knew they were gonna do a really sort of rough track. Really enjoyed that. I also like that they added a screamer on here. I don't know who you are, but you did an awesome job. And I think they really nailed it, put the nail in the coffin in this one with just a great chorus overall. I would definitely say I would have to say this one's probably my favorite track overall. There are some really close ones. Disorder is definitely up there, and then the next track, Liberated, I would definitely say probably those three might be my favorite overall out of the entire record. However, I do have a lot of favorites, but if I had to kind of whittle it down, I would definitely put Manic in the top three, top tracks. But getting back to Liberated, another one of my favorite tracks. I would say easily this one has the heaviest intro, but then it switches up, which is probably why I like it the most because at the beginning I thought, oh man, this track's gonna be really brutal, really heavy. They're gonna continue on with that, and then they just completely switched the game and went more of like a hard rock, almost borderline rock direction. I feel like this feels like a almost a day to remember sort of track. I love the instrumentation. I think it's perfect. Really like that again. That intro really got me, so I was hooked on this track already. And then I like the utilization of synth again. I think this is by far one of the most well-rounded tracks off this record too. Along with Manic, I think they just kind of killed it on these last three tracks off the record. They just solidified this to be one of my favorites of the year so far. Like I mentioned before, track number 12, Sins, is one of my favorites. I like that it's kind of got the solo guitar and vocals. I know a lot of bands do this, but I feel like again, it's another thing with being executed very well. I really enjoy that. I also feel like you can definitely tell the rawness in this track and just the emotional feel that you get from this track. I really enjoyed this one a lot. And then I like when the instrumentation kicks in. I feel like it just adds another layer to it, another punch to it. And I think this is a great way to end off this record without a doubt. So let's go into the pros and cons of this record. Some pros, really like the diversity. I think that is the biggest pro that I can give this record is that for face value, if you listen to the singles, it's not what you're going to expect, but I think it's not what you're going to expect in the best way possible. I think they really just did an awesome job. They really killed it in terms of just having some light songs, having some heavy songs, having some rock tracks, having some hard rock track, having some synth parts, have some cool interludes. I think that just overall really got me about this track, and maybe I might be a little bit biased because I do like this band a lot. But I really think if you listen to this record, you would have the same feelings that I would have about it. But another pro on this record, I think lengthwise, it's very appropriate. It wasn't too long to go through, even though there were 12 tracks. I do like that each track, it doesn't feel long. It doesn't feel strenuous. I really enjoy that. Each track has its own nuances that I like and I enjoy. So kudos to them. And any cons that I have, I really don't have any cons. I think it was just well executed, well recorded. Everything sounds very good and has a lot of clarity to it. So I really enjoyed that a lot. So my overall rating for this record is going to have to be a 9.2 out of 10. I think this one is by far one of my favorite records of this year, at this current moment. And I definitely think it will still stay in my at least top 15 till the end of the year. It just has so much diversity, has so much replay value. Anything from rock to pop rock to punk, pop punk to anything metalcore, hard rock. It really has everything. And I think that's why I like it, and I think that's why it has a lot of replay value is because there are some heavier tracks. There's everything for anyone, pretty much. If you enjoy this genre, I highly, highly recommend that you go check this track out and this whole album out. I think it's definitely worth it. It's on all social media and music platforms, so definitely go give them a like, go give them a subscribe. I think they definitely are in my favorite bands of this year, without a doubt. So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on the Beautiful Monument. Have you heard of them before? What was your thoughts on the album in general? Thank you to Beautiful Monument for letting me check out their record. I think it's, as I said, I think it's excellent, and I think you guys definitely should go give it a listen. So if you enjoyed my review, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, please. It really does mean a lot, and also make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. I can't thank you guys enough for supporting us. It means so much to me. I can't believe it. So, my name is Brandon. You've been watching Audio Addiction, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, of course. If you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.